So, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Guy Kawasaki, who is currently the Chief Evangelist of Canva, an online graphic design tool. Formerly, Guy was an advisor to the Motorola business unit of Google, and before that, he was the Chief Evangelist at Apple. Earlier in his career, he co-founded Garage.com, which was an angel investing matchmaking service. He is the author of 12 books, including 8, Author, Publisher, Entrepreneur, How to Publish a Book, What Plus, Enchantment, Rules for Revolutionaries, and our favorite, Harvard Start. Guy has a BA from Stanford and an MBA from UCLA, as well as an honorary doctorate from Babson College. He is one of the most enterprising entrepreneurs I know. And today he's going to share his thoughts with us on entrepreneurship 101, what you need to know, how to innovate and launch a startup, what VCs are looking for, how to get people enchanted with your idea, and how you can change the world. So join me in welcoming Guy.
Thank you very much. So this is a rather informal setting, which is nice because I don't have very many informal settings. And I would just like to give you some thoughts. You're free to poke holes in them, question me, whatever. And I'd just like to give you sort of an overview, retroactive analysis of entrepreneurship that I hope can help you as you go forth in your careers and as you change the world. A little bit more about my background. I worked for Apple twice in my life, from 83 to 87 and 95 to 97. The first time I was Apple's software evangelist, so my job was to convince people to write Mac software. The second time I was Apple's chief evangelist, and at that point it was my job to make sure the Macintosh cult did not die. Because at that point, hard to imagine, but many people thought that Apple would die in the 1995 time frame. And now it's the most valuable company in the world, so that shows you one lesson, which is most people are stupid. And that is it's an important thing to keep in mind. So after I worked for Apple twice, I started some software companies. I became a writer and a speaker. About 3 weeks ago, I joined this company as chief evangelist because I think it is going to democratize design. It's kind of like being I'm employee number 20 or so it's like being the 20th employee of Adobe, if you will, which could be very, very interesting. And I'll give you a demo if we have time with Canva. But the topic today really is entrepreneurship. So here are some thoughts for you about entrepreneurship with my hindsight. So the first thing I noticed is that the people who create great companies do so out of a desire to change the world as opposed to make money. So I call this making meaning as opposed to making money. I think if you focus on making money, or that's the primary reason for you to start a company, you'll probably fail. The reason why you'll probably fail is because when you set up a company with the DNA of focusing on making money, you tend to attract people who also believe the same thing. And those people are looking for a quick payoff. And it's never the case that you get a quick payoff in the startup. So those people will inevitably quickly move on, and you kind of fall apart. So my observation is that the companies that have been extremely successful, their DNA is about making meaning. And I'll give you some examples. For example, Apple was about making meaning by improving people's creativity and productivity. And Woz and Jobs really wanted to do that. So that's one example. I think Google is in the business of democratizing information. By democratizing information so that it was available to everybody, they made the world a better place. That's the meaning they made, and they've been very successful at that, and they've been rewarded for that. eBay, I would say that eBay has democratized commerce, that anybody could have a store on eBay, they could be in business on eBay. You did not have to be Walmart or Target to succeed in commerce, and eBay made that possible. The same sense, Etsy has made it possible for craftsmen or craftspeople to come to market. They don't have to be a large conglomerate to succeed if you're on Etsy. It's about the craft there. And my observation is that those kinds of companies that start off with this romantic and often naive belief that they can change the world are the ones that succeed, and a natural outcome of making people's lives better is that you are financially rewarded. But if you set off with the primary goal of financial rewards, you will probably fail. That's observation number one. Observation number two is, I think that you should build the product that you would like to use. There are many theories about what drives innovation. One theory is sort of the MBA analysis, that you look at the market, you look for an unserved need, and you fill that need. I think that is total bullshit. The reason why that is total bullshit is that you have to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to love what you do, and you're going to have to love what you do because it's going to suck for a long time. It's going to be very difficult. And if you're doing something that's difficult and sucks, you better love what you do. And if you are not driven by a desire to change people's lives and do something you love, you'll probably give up too early. And that is one of the great dangers of entrepreneurship. And so it's very important that you do something that you love. And one of the main reasons or main ways you can ensure that you're doing something you love is because you yourself want to use the product. So I would make the case that one of the great reasons Apple's successful is because Steve Wozniak really wanted to use a personal computer. He did not want to drive to a bank, work for a bank, work for NASA, work for Stanford. He didn't want to work for a large organization, work for the government in order to use a computer. He wanted his own computer. He created a computer that he wanted to use, and the rest is history. And I think if you apply that, that I hope Larry and Sergey wanted to use Google. They wanted to access more of the information. They wanted to find a more relevant way to display search results because they wanted better search results. I think that the founders of YouTube wanted to democratize video so that you didn't have to be a Hollywood producer. Anybody could get video out, distribute it, and expose it to all the people in the world. And so time and time again, I see that the reason many people created their companies is because they wanted to use the product. Now, the skeptics would say in response to this that, well, what if the market isn't large enough? And isn't it better to read a consulting report? Isn't it better to read the wisdom of some experts and some analysts and some journalists who tell you there's a large unserved market and therefore you should go do it? Well, I think the problem with that is that by the time an analyst or a journalist or a reporter says that something is unfilled, it probably is not unfilled anymore because they are notoriously behind the time. And from the time that you figure out that something is unfilled to the time you can't fill it is typically a year. And so that's a long time. So the danger, of course, is that if Woz was creating a product that only he wanted to use, he would sell, or he would be able to ship exactly one Apple, one computer. But I will tell you that of all the paths you could take, I think creating a product that you would like to use is probably the richest thing. I don't mean economically, I mean richest in the terms of likelihood of success. It is unlikely that you are the only person who wants to use a product, unless you are a psychopath. If you're a psychopath, yes, you may be the only person who wants to use this product. But you're at Stanford, so you probably are not a psychopath, unless somebody wrote an essay, the essays for you. So let's assume you're not a psychopath. Then I think there's a pretty good chance that there are other people like you. And there may be many people who do not realize that, yes, they too want a personal computer. They too want a perfect market called eBay where demand and supply can reach the theoretical crossing point and you have the market clearing price that somebody else out there wants to shoot video and put it out there and somebody else out there wants a better search result. I think those are pretty likely things. So my second piece of advice is you should create the product that you would like to use and just hope that you are not the only person in the world who wants to use that product. My third piece of advice for you is that contrary to, I hope it's not contrary to what Ann tells you, the key gating item for a company is not writing a business plan, creating a pitch, or making a financial analysis. the most important thing you could do is create a prototype. The prototype really sort of separates the wheat from the chaff, because at that point, people can really use your product or your service. They can really tell if they like it. You really hear what they like, hear what they don't like. I can tell you that all your PowerPoints are going to say basically the same thing. It's a large, untapped market. You're a proven team. You only need 1% of this large growing market to be successful. You have proprietary technology that nobody else in the world can do. I mean, you're all going to say the same bullshit because that's what people expect in those pitches. And you know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Everybody knows it's bullshit. We just, we're too polite to say that. But, so, the bullshit stops when you have a prototype. Because when you have a prototype, that's where the path, I think, is that you catalyze lust. That investing in entrepreneurship is largely irrational. It is about falling in love. Your job is to make other employees fall in love with what you do. Your job is to make potential investors fall in love with what you do. Your job is to make customers fall in love with what you do. Now, love is not a rational thing. And so, you need to create this compelling product or service that makes people go irrational. That is a very good test. And that is probably contrary to what most people will tell you. That product selection, investment is all rational, scientific, internal rates of return. It's all total bullshit. People fall in love or they don't fall in love. It's that simple. And if you don't fall in love, then you can, to put it in an investment context, if somebody doesn't invest in you, they probably, first of all, will lie to you. They won't tell you exactly why they don't want to invest in you, because it's often too difficult to get into a discussion of why they really don't want to invest. They also probably don't want to have to explain it, and then you're going to counter the argument, and then they're going to have to counter your counter. It's just a lot of garbage has to happen if you're honest. You could think of this as like dating. So if you say no to somebody, you don't really say no, I think you suck, you're ugly, you have horrible dress, I don't like your race, color, creed, whatever. You don't tell them the truth, right? You just say, I don't know what you say, you lie, right? You say, I'm busy, I'm involved, I'm too busy, I'm focusing on my studies, whatever it is. But you don't tell people the truth. It's the same thing is true about investing. And so, it is, now on the other hand, that's the negative side. The positive side is if you do fall in love, then you're willing to look past people's weaknesses, right? So if you fall in love and you say, well, this person is on his third marriage, something must be wrong with him. But if you fall in love, you say, well, the way you spin that to yourself is you say, well, this person truly now understands himself because he's been through 3 marriages. And so now I'm the 4th one, and I'm the one who's going to benefit from the knowledge this person has gained. If you don't fall in love with this person, you say this person is a serial marrier, and this person is nuts. He's immature, he's egocentric, he's psychopathic, he's mama's boy, whatever it is. So it is about falling in love. Now put it in the company context. If someone falls in love with your company, they might say, well, the team is not proven, but I can help them build out their team. Their technology is not finished, but they're from Stanford, they're smart, they'll figure it out. They could say, well, a pessimist would say, well, the market is not proven. An optimist who falls in love would say, well, the market's not proven, but this also means that there's less competition. That Google isn't into it already, and Microsoft isn't into it already. So, it's blue sky, it's blue ocean. It's a great thing that this market is not proven. If it were proven, it would be too competitive. So, I'm trying to tell you that it's irrational, it's all about falling in love. Using the love analogy one more time, the key to this presentation of your company is what I call the hot or not phenomenon. Okay, so there's 2 kinds of online dating sites, right? So one is eHarmony. You fill out 29 pages of psychographic information. Do you like to walk on beaches? Do you want children? Do you not want children? Are you open to adoption? Not open to adoption? Are you a mountain person or an ocean person? I don't know. I've never filled out all those things, but it's about psychographic because you're going to walk hand in hand with your love mate for the rest of your lives on windswept beaches, communicating kumbaya, staring in each other's eyes, right? So that's the eHarmony theory, right? The flip side of the harmony theory is the hot or not theory. The hot or not theory is you go to hotornot.com, you see somebody's picture, you say hot or not. That's it. You either want to date that person or not. I'm telling you that venture capital and investment and entrepreneurship is like hot or not. It's not about eHarmony. So you have about 5 seconds to prove that you're hot or not. And that's the context in which most of these things are made. Are you going to have a venture capitalist, like a real venture capitalist, come in? Later? Soon?
Uh,
A few weeks?
in a few weeks.
Okay, so in a few weeks, you're going to, who is it? You even want to know.
You don't want to know.
Okay, so in a few weeks, last name begin with D?
No.
Okay. In a few weeks, you're going to have a, is he male?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to have a tall, white, old male. Right? Lives in Atherton. Lives in Atherton. Member of the Menlo Circus Club. Plays golf. Drives a German car. And this person is going to come in here and it says there are 3 parameters in the startup. There's team, technology, and market. And we invest in teams because we believe in backing the jockey. We're backing people. We want to find people that are smart and hardworking, intuitive, visionary. That's what we bet. You could have the wrong product, but we don't care because if you're good and you're smart, you'll fix that product. You'll create the right product. We don't invest in markets because it's too hard to tell if a market will be big. It's too hard to invest in technology because at the point that we have to make the decision, nobody knows if the technologies work. So we bet on people. Okay? And that is total heroically bullshit. So what it is about falling in love again. So yes, people is one aspect, but so is the market, and so is the technology. So your job is to make that person fall in love with you. They could fall in love with you because you are a good person. They could fall in love with you because that person, the venture capitalist, sees this enormous market that they want to tap. Or you could have this patent pending curve jump in Nobel Prize winning technology that could only be invented at Stanford. It could be any of those reasons, but you always be told it's about people. The problem with the people theory is that the point that you have to make the decision about investing in a company, you cannot tell if the people are good.